So today I will be discussing electrophoretic techniques. So electrophoresis in general, it is the movement of charged particle under the influence of electric field that is known as electrophoresis. Uh, Here you can see in the diagram, there are two electrodes, positive electrode and negative electrode. Here electric field is applied. So when electric field is applied and here suppose there is charged particle in between the electrodes, you can see here is a charged particle. When electric field is applied, the charged particle, depending upon the charge on it, it will move towards its respective electrode. So under the influence of this electric field, it will move towards the charged electrode. So this is known as electrophoresis. So electrophoresis, this technique we use for the separation of biomolecules, because biomolecules like proteins, peptides, DNA, RNA, they have some net charge. So because these molecules have some net charge, we can separate these molecules through the process of electrophoresis. So this equipment, it consists of basically two parts. One, there is power pack, and second, there is electrophoresis unit. So here you can see the power pack. The power pack supplies direct current, DC. So it supplies direct current. Under this current, in the electrophoresis unit is attached to the power pack, and in the electrophoresis unit, electric field is created through this power pack. And in the electrophoresis unit, as I have already showed in the previous slide, the charged particle is in between these two electrodes. So the charged particle will move when the electric field is applied. So basically there are two parts, power pack, this is power pack, and this is electrophoresis unit. So coming to the electrophoresis unit can be run, these gels electrophoresis unit can be run horizontally as well as vertically. So in horizontal gel system, the gel is cast on a glass or plastic slab, and the electrophoresis unit is this horizontal gels are basically used for running the DNA, RNA, or sometimes proteins also. And second comes the vertical gel electrophoresis. Vertical gel electrophoresis is cast between the two glass plates, and basically this vertical gel electrophoresis unit is used for the separation of protein molecules. So here you can see here the diagrams for horizontal gel electrophoresis and vertical electrophoresis unit. So this first one is horizontal gel electrophoresis unit. Here you can see the gel is cast over a glass or plastic plate, and below the gel there is some cooling system, cooling plate is there. Because during the process of electrophoresis there is some heating. So to minimize the heating, we have to provide some cooling system. So there is cooling plate. So and you can see here at one side there is wet filter paper, wick of filter paper, wetted filter paper here, and it is dipped in the electrophoresis buffer. Here this is like buffer reservoir, and in the second side there is also buffer reservoir, and a wick of filter paper is also suspended here. So it completes the circuit. It can complete the electric circuit. Here this is vertical electrophoresis unit. Here the gel is cast between the glass plates, and it is vertical. And here we run our sample in this bell is made in the vertical gel, and samples are run. Here also there are two compartments. There are two buffer compartments. This upper reservoir and lower reservoir. Here there are also two electrodes, cathode and anode. So coming to power pack, as I already told, power pack supplies the direct current, and it actually maintain the ionization state of the molecules. Buffer, the function of buffer is to maintain the ionization state of the molecules. So when this electrophoresis, we have to start the electrophoresis, the potential will switch on the power pack, and as we switch on the power pack, the potential difference is applied. So potential difference is applied. Here you can see we can see in this horizontal system. We are just taking the example of horizontal gel system. So this is horizontal electrophoresis unit. When the power is applied, this is electrode, this is second electrode. When the power is applied, and we apply the sample. So the sample will move according to its charge, depending upon the charge on the molecule. The molecule will move towards the electrode which has opposite charge to what is present on the molecule. So the molecules will move depending upon the charge present on them, and they are separated based on the different criteria. Suppose we are separating the molecule on the basis of size. The molecules will move according to their size, and they are separated. Suppose we are separating the molecule on the basis of electric charge. So the molecules will move depending upon the charge, and they will move toward their respective electrodes. So actually, one thing I want to show is that here this is the earlier slide I have shown you the process of electrophoresis. Actually, in electrophoresis, the charged particle move under the influence of electric field. So the charged particle starts from one electrode and it moves toward the other electrode. So we have to stop when the charged particles reaches the other electrode. We have to stop the process of electrophoresis. Otherwise, the charged particle will elute from the gel. So when the sample is applied here in the well, the charged particle move from this electrode towards the other electrode. So when the charged particle move to this end, we have to stop the process of electrophoresis. Otherwise, the charged particle will come out of this gel, and this process the process of separating the charged particle, that will not be useful, because the particles will come out of this gel. So we have to stop the process of electrophoresis before the charged particle or the biological molecule reaches this end. So we also call the process of electrophoresis also described as incomplete form of electrolysis, because the charged particle never reaches the other electrode. So now coming to the problems of electrophoresis. Actually, when we run the electrophoresis, so the molecules move according to their charge, and as we increase the electric current, the charged particle move faster, and as the electric current is increased, there is some generation of some heat in the gel. So there is some heating problem. So we have to minimize this heating problem. To minimize the heating problem, we have to take different measures, like we have to supply constant powers, we have to provide constant power supply, then we have to compromise with the time taken to run the gel, and some appropriate cooling system should also be used. So these 2-3 measures are important in order to minimize the heating problem. Now coming to next, support media and buffer. Actually, earlier electrophoretic systems, the first electrophoresis system that was introduced, that was invented by A. Theselius, and the earlier electrophoresis system, the gel was not used as the gels are used nowadays. Actually, the electrophoresis was run in the liquid medium. So there was some problems in running the electrophoresis in liquid medium. There was problems of diffusion and convection currents. So to minimize these convection currents and get rid of problem of diffusion, some So first, filter paper and cellulose adhesives was used as support media. Later on, thin support media was used, like gel system was, star gels were used, and nowadays mostly we use aerogel and polyacrylamide gels as support system. So coming to agarose gels, agarose is a component of agar, which is a polysaccharide. Agar consists of two components, agarose and agarobactin. So agarose is a linear polymer, and it is in powder form. It is dissolved in water and boiled, and it is left for some time and it forms in gel. So gelling property is due to inter and intramolecular bonding within and between the long agarose chains. So these agarose gels, they are rigid gels and they are used for running both protein and DNA samples, and mostly agarose gels are mostly used for DNA and RNA. Next, we use polyacrylamide gels. Polyacrylamide gels, they are polymer of acrylamide gel monomers. Polyacrylamide gels are mostly used for running protein samples. So these gels are formed of acrylamide. Acrylamide is the monomer, and it is actually polymerized. Actually there are two ways in which we polymerize the acrylamide. Acrylamide and bisacrylamide, these are the main important components. They are mixed in different concentration, and they are polymerized by adding, we add ammonium persulfate APS, and it is actually free radical mechanism. Here ammonium persulfate and timid is added. Ammonium persulfate and timid, it catalyzes the formation of free radical from the persulfate ion. Free radical is a highly reactive species due to presence of unpaired electron. So this free radical, it attacks, this is if we represent the free radical by R dot, and this R dot is free radical, it attacks the monomer acrylamide, and acrylamide combine react with this free radical and it forms Rm. So this Rm again forms the free radical. It has again the unshared pair of electron, and it is here represented as Rm. So this Rm is free radical. It again attacks the next monomer acrylamide, and it forms Rm dot. And in this way, this chain keeps on propagating, elongating, and long chain is formed. If we see the structure of these in this way, the acrylamide and bisacrylamide, they are combined with each other and they form a long fiber, and in certain places growing chain bisacrylamide is introduced and it forms a cross-linked polymers and solid gel is formed. So here you can see this is acrylamide, it polymerizes, and again it polymerizes in head to tail fashion, and at certain places this is bisacrylamide. This is actually bisacrylamide. It consists of two acrylamide units and it forms bisacrylamide. So this bisacrylamide is introduced in the growing chain, and at the point of insertion it introduces branching point. So the long acrylamide chains, they are interconnected with each other through these bisacrylamide molecules, and a network of polymerized polyacrylamide is formed, and in this way a gel is formed, which is known as polyacrylamide gel. Actually, we have to, prior to the formation of this gel, prior to adding the timid and APS, we have to remove the oxygen from the solution, because oxygen it removes the free radical, it reacts with the free radical and removes the free radical. So we have to remove the free radical and we have to degas the solution by we have to remove the oxygen, so that the free radical is not consumed before the process of polymerization. So actually this was the free radical mechanism. It was the chemical process through which polyacrylamide gels are formed. There is alternative to this process. We can also polymerize the acrylamide gels through the process of photopolymerization. In the photopolymerization, we don't make use of TIMIT and APS. We make use of riboflavin. Riboflavin is mixed in the solution and it is showed light for 1 to 2 hours, and during this process the riboflavin it decomposes and it forms free radical, and this free radical again initiates the process of polymerization and it polymerizes the gel. As far as the concentration of the gel and pore size of the gel, that depends upon the molecules we are separating. Suppose the protein, we are separating protein molecules, and we have to be sure about the range of size of the protein molecules we are separating. So depending upon the range of the size of the protein molecule, we have to fix the concentration. We have to take the concentration of acrylamide and bisacrylamide. Generally, acrylamide is taken in the concentration about 3% to 30%. So depending upon the pore size, suppose we have to keep the pore size bigger, we have to take the less concentration of acrylamide, and we have to decrease the pore size, then the acrylamide concentration should be more. So in case of SDS page, where there is stacking gel in the upper part of the SDS page gel system, there is stacking gel. So the concentration of stacking gel is very low. Acrylamide concentration is very low, and the second gel which is below the stacking gel, that is resolving gel, the concentration of acrylamide is high. So the pore size in the stacking gel is bigger, so that because the purpose of stacking gel is not to resolve the protein but to stack the protein samples. So the pore size of acrylamide gel is high. The pore size is bigger, so that most of the protein molecules they move unhindered in the stacking gel and they stack before entering the resolving gel. So that's all about the process of electrophoresis and the various support media will be used in the electrophoresis.